What's the #1 tune I play on the bagpipes that turns people's heads, that always gets the crowd excited? Even complete strangers love this tune. It's Star Wars! Of course it's Star Wars! And I'm going to show you how to play the first phrase of Star Wars on the bagpipe chanter in this video. Not only that, I'm going to play the whole tune for you on my Highland bagpipes over here. If you don't know me, my name's Alec from Get Bagpipe Ready, and if you've enjoyed my videos, if you get something out of value from this video today, you just might be interested in my online workshop where I go through the entire tune of Star Wars, all the embellishments, note-by-note instruction, with the sheet music, with my accountability and support. And there's going to be more on that later, how you can actually get that online workshop for 50% off. There's a link in the description below this video if you're more interested on that. But without further ado, let's get into the lesson. So this is what you're going to get out of today's video. Sounds like Star Wars, does it not? So where are we starting with this? We're starting with right hand on the bottom of the chanter, left hand on the top of the chanter. Our fingers are flat, not wrinkled upright, they're more flat. Our top hand has a thumb hole on the back and 3 fingers. Our pinky on the top hand does nothing. Our bottom hand has 4 fingers on the bottom. There's no thumb hole for the bottom. And that pinky finger on the bottom hand is down. So that's the holes on the chanter. If that's too quick for you, you might want to check out some of my other videos where I go through that in a bit more detail. So for Star Wars, we're starting on low A. So for low A, all the finger holes are covered except the pinky finger on the bottom hand is up. We start out with a triplet. Now we've done this in some of my earlier videos as well, but we'll just break that down. So a triplet is 3 grace notes, hence the name triplet, makes sense. So our first grace note, by far our most common grace note in bagpiping, is our G grace note, up and down top finger of the top hand. And it might just take a while to get that without any other fingers volunteering to help out. We just want that one finger to go up and down. And then the next finger is our D grace note, top finger of the top finger of the bottom hand. So we have G grace note, top finger of the top hand. We have our D grace note, top finger of the bottom hand. And then we have our E grace note, ring finger or bottom finger of the top hand. Now for Star Wars, we need 2 extra grace notes in there. So we're going to do our triplet, followed by 2 more grace notes. So here's our triplet. And then we need 2 more grace notes. So we're just going to add in a G grace note and a D grace note, and then we're going to skip the last part of that triplet, which is typically the E. Not too bad. So that's a good spot to pause the video and just repeat that. Get used to playing the full triplet and then just the first 2 grace notes of the second triplet. Full triplet, first 2 grace notes of the second triplet. Once you feel like you have that, we're going to jump up to the E. And the E is bottom hand, all the fingers are covering the holes except for the pinky is up. Top hand, our E ring finger is up. Thumb is on the hole on the back. So that's an E. When you play E, if it doesn't sound like an E, take a moment and just check which finger is sliding off the hole. Make sure they're all covered. So there's our E. So we're going to jump up to that E after our grace note, our triplets, and then 2 grace notes. So we jump up to the E and immediately we do an E strike. And an E strike is simply that ring finger of the top hand striking down on the hole and up off the hole. Now we got a nice little sequence. Again, this is a good one to repeat. So you can pause and repeat that. And if you want to add in a little bit of embellishment in there, don't be scared. If you mess it up, that's fine. That's how your brain and fingers are going to figure out this chanter. We can jump up to that E by an E doubling. So that's going to go like this. So let's just break down that E doubling for you. So we're going up to the E from the low A. So we're going to get there with a G grace note. So that's the tricky part of the transition. We're getting there with a G grace note. So the top finger of the top hand has to lift off. At the same time, the ring finger of the top hand is also lifting off. And that's our G grace note to the E. And to make it a doubling, double 2 grace notes, right? So we did our first one to get there, now we're going to do our second grace note to make it a doubling, and that's the middle finger of the top hand going up and down. So again, we have the top finger lifting our G grace note to get to the E. Our E, we're lifting the ring finger of the top hand, now we're on the E, and then we do our second grace note, just that up and down of that middle finger of the top hand. And just because we did the doubling doesn't mean we're not going to do that strike too. And an E doubling, it just adds so much more to the tune. So let me repeat that a couple times with that E doubling in there. So whether you choose to start with the E doubling or go without it for a while, either's good with me. Just keep practicing and playing. You're going to get Star Wars on the Bagpipe Chanter, and how cool is that? People are going to turn their heads and go, what? Okay, so from that E, whether you get there with the doubling or not, you do your strike, then we're going to just drop one note down in the scale to D. So when we transition down to D from our E, our ring finger is going down on the hole. At the same time, our top 3 fingers of the bottom hand come off the holes while the pinky grabs its hole on the bottom hand. So there's a lot of finger movement going on with that transition. If you're completely new to this video, this is a tough transition. Don't let it fool you. Just keep at it. You just need a lot of repetition with that one. Okay, so if that's new to you, just pause, work on that a little bit. You're not going to get it in one day, but don't fret. You can still get a lot of this tune, and what a fun way to work on that transition. Okay. So we just are walking down the scale. We've gone the tricky transition to D, then we're going down to C, and then we go down to B. And C, D to C is an easy transition. We're just dropping that first finger of the bottom hand. To B, a little bit tricky. We're going to drop the next finger of the bottom hand, so our middle finger, and at the same time that pinky is lifting. So our B note, those bottom 2 fingers should both be up on the bottom hand. And essentially we're starting from the E. So we're just walking down the scale there. And let's just add that into what we have so far. Then I'm going to throw another curveball at you. Okay, I'll play that once more. Now what's going to make this really cool, we've already done the doubling on the E, now let's do a doubling on the D. So the D doubling, our D doubling, we're going to do a G grace note to get to the D. So when we do that G grace note, we're lifting the top finger of the top hand. At the same time, we're doing that tricky transition that we just talked about from the E to the D. Sorry. Yeah, I thought I was wrong, but I was right. So we're doing that tricky transition from the E to the D, all the while we're doing a G grace note in there. So if you don't worry about the second grace note of the doubling just for a moment, we've worked on the transition from E to D. If you can make the ambulance sound, you're good with that. Try to add in that G grace note. And once you get that, and it's going to take some time, but work at it, we make it a doubling by doing our second grace note, and our second grace note is going to come the ring finger or the bottom finger of the top hand, and we'll be sitting on that D as we do that. There, sorry, I did one brain fart there. That's what we're looking for. So work at that. It's worth repeating, and once you get it, it's going to sound that much cooler. And I'll play what you got so far with that D doubling in as well. And from that B, whether you do the D doubling yet or not, you still end up on that B. From that B, we're going to jump right up to high A, which sounds scarier than it is. The bottom hand, we're just dropping one finger. The top hand, we're going to the high A position. And again, that high A position, top two fingers of the top hand and the thumb are both off. That ring finger is still grabbing its hold for dear life. Okay, so that's the transition, and we almost got this whole phrase down. That's the last bit of the phrase. We're just going from high A down to E. So when we do that transition, basically all the fingers that aren't touching a hole on the top hand find a hole, and the one finger that is touching a hole comes off. So when you end, you should be back in that E position, which we've talked about, just one finger up off the hole of the top hand, that ring finger. So that's the last transition, and then you got the whole first little phrase of Star Wars. And again, we can add in a bit of a doubling here. It's not a true doubling because we can't do a G grace note when we're on high A because our top finger isn't on the hole. So we don't do that one, but we do the second grace note, and that's our middle finger up and down. So it'll sound like this. And again, you don't have to do that, but it does add a little bit more flavor to the tune. So I'm going to play the full phrase through a couple times, and you got all the pieces. You just need to keep practicing those ones that you need to repeat, and eventually you're going to be able to stick them all together, line them all up, and turn some heads when you can bust out the first phrase of Star Wars. So here we go. I'll play it through a couple times. Okay, there was one little thing I did there that I didn't explain yet. When I pop up to that high A, I do a high A doubling. So this is our third or fourth different doubling you can add in. Our high A doubling, we're striking the back with our thumb. Some people strike up I strike down. I don't know if it's a right or wrong thing, or like some people are innie belly buttons, some people are outie belly buttons. But anyway, I strike down. So we're coming from the B to high A, remember? So at that high A, we're going to do a high A doubling. And if you remember, then we go back to the E. And if you want, you can do that kind of the half doubling from the high A to E. So hopefully breaking that down a little bit helps that high part for you. Okay, now I'll go back and play the full thing with that high A doubling. All right, so you got the first phrase of Star Wars, and as promised, I'm gonna play them on my Highland pipes here. I don't have the greatest camera. It's not the best microphone, and I'm indoors, so I'm gonna wear my earplugs, and hopefully the sound recording is okay, and you don't have to wear your earplugs at home. But I'm gonna wear my earplugs, and I don't know if that's a good sign or a bad sign. That I want to save my ears to keep hearing my piping in the future, or I want to plug my ears so I don't have to hear my piping. I'll let you decide. But in any case, as I mentioned, while I get my pipes ready here, yeah, the Star Wars online workshop. So there's a certain price tag tied to that. It's $53. But if you sign up for the Get Bagpipe Ready membership, you get that for just $27. And you get every tune that I put out. I put out one tune a month for the membership. You get access to all the past tune workshops and all the future ones, and you get my accountability and support and guidance, the sheet music, the note-by-note instruction for each monthly tune. So it's just $27 a month for that membership. And again, of course, if you feel like you're not there, you just want to go on YouTube, get the free stuff. I'm still doing my YouTube channel. I love this, and I love the comments I get in my YouTube channel. It's so much fun. But the one thing about the YouTube channel is, you know, mostly I stick with basic melody for very, very beginners. I don't do a lot of the embellishments, but you know, like you see, you can totally start adding some in. And if you're interested in working on embellishments, if you're wanting more sheet music, if you're wanting more structure, you're wanting to get less distracted by YouTube, you know, it's a pretty low monthly fee. And you know, it's all in the details. The link is in the show notes. So you can check that out if you're interested. And without any more blabber on that, I'm going to go ahead and play Star Wars for you with my earplugs in. Unless they don't stay in my ears for some reason. All right, so stay tuned. Thanks for joining me for this lesson. Good luck on Star Wars. And I'll just play it here for you so you got some inspiration for practicing. Star Wars, you're gonna get it. Look forward to hearing from you, and I'd love to work with you more on your bagpipe journey. Again, if you're interested in that membership and the amazing deal that is, just click on the show notes below. Thanks, this has been Alec from Get Bagpipe Ready, and happy piping. Bye for now.